Yeah, I got home at 8:30. So, I mean, we're not too far off. But, yeah, we did totally F that up. So, 3, 2, 1. Today on the Back Row Fantasy Show, we talk about a startup mock draft that Arms and I started, full of back row friends and family and network folks. Should be interesting. Where did the rookies go in comparison to the veterans? And we're streaming, and we're live, and we're back together on the Back Row Fantasy Show starting now.
Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show with your hosts, Jeremy Barker, Aaron Arms, and Brian Hucks.
Man, it feels good. No more remote shit.
I wanted to do, man, you need to dub in the Eminem. It feels so good to be back.
That would have been okay.
I thought about that last night as I was laying in bed in anticipation of getting back into the Thunderdome.
It is the Thunderdome, the Thunderbox. It's the fart box.
That's disgusting.
Thunderbox.
As though I'm not a fat, disgusing, 36-year-old man. It is. I hope that doesn't come through.
I turned 39.
You did.
I did.
I turned 36 a few weeks ago.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
It's the worst. Not really. It was the worst birthday ever from you can't go out and do anything. But my wife did give me a surprise birthday party. I've never had one of those before.
That's interesting.
Just randomly, one of her friends just showed up with, Lanny told her what kind of cake I like. So she handmade her family recipe cake, and it was phenomenal.
That's pretty cool.
German chocolate cake. Not an easy one to make.
That sounds similar to kind of what I go through. And my birthday consists of a cake, and it's usually homemade by the wife. No presents, nothing like that. It's all about the cake.
I did get some true wireless earbuds, which I'm far too cheap. I don't spend money on myself ever. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys don't give a shit about this, and we never do this, really, but Lanny bought them for me, and I'm like, this is a great birthday present, Lanny. And beer. I got beer, too.
I'll have to show you the ones I bought. I posted them.
Yeah, I told...
$15. The things sound like
about them.
Gold.
I told my nephew about them.
They sound amazing.
He's in the lawn care business, we'll say.
Brett is?
Yeah, he's getting ready to get back to college. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, I saw Capper the other day. Wow, we're going off the rails. You guys don't know who that is.
You guys don't care.
Anyway, so Arms and I did a mock draft. It's not even completed. We started this thing yesterday in back row fashion. It's how we do it. All right, guys, 16 rounds. The show's tomorrow night. Today's today. We can do this. We can knock it out. No, that was wrong. We're on round 10 of 16.
It would have been right if people didn't use the 2 hours worth of their timer at times.
Yeah. And then we decided, a lot of the way through it, you know what? We may want to carry this over to a Yahoo League or something because, of course, we all like our drafts. It's a 12-teamer.
Yeah.
Listen, again, 16 teams, this shit doesn't happen. You don't love your team in a 16-teamer.
You might like it.
But
you don't walk in, you're like, we have to play this season out.
Yeah.
There's 11 other people saying, no, we just got to see how this pans out, guys.
Right. I mean, my current quarterback situation is Patrick Mahomes with Joe Burrow as the backup. Not that Burrow's done anything amazing, but Joe Burrow's my backup.
Yeah.
And that's, in a 16-teamer, Ryan Fitzpatrick is my backup. That's just how it works. I've got a stacked team from top to bottom as far as production goes. Maybe not named so much, but we'll get there. Anyways, so we started this thing, and there's been some interesting things happen in this draft. But before we dive all the way in, what else? I really want to talk about this because it's really got me kind of pissed off. The NFL is talking about and possibly voting on a stipulation that if you hire a black head coach or GM, it could improve your draft position.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay. All for entire equality.
It's a slap in the face.
But that is
it's a slap in the face to a guy like Brian Flores. If this would have happened and Miami hires Brian Flores, is that not a slap in the face? I don't want that. I don't want that charity.
Yes, exactly.
It's bullshit. It's stupid.
You should get the job because you're the best man for the job.
Right.
And like Brian Flores, best man for the job. I think we can agree. I mean, it's not like Belichick's like, you know what? I want to go down to Miami. That's not what happened. They got a young upcoming coach who earned the job.
Right.
And now they're going to say, hey man, we're going to bump you up to first overall. You can just have your own quarterback. That's ridiculous.
Also,
It'll also be voted down because it's owned by, 30 of them are old white guys.
that's exactly what I said, and I want to throw out real quick that Phil Simmons, who's Pork Man over at the Dynasty Rewind, go check him out. Phil's a great dude. He pointed this out to me on Twitter, not directly, but he posted it, and I read everything Pork Man does because I like Pork Man.
Yeah.
So he points this out, and I'm just like, and he's not happy. Like, why would you be? It's absolutely ridiculous.
I understand trying to incentivize, the hiring of minorities because let's be real, there are not enough minority head coaches in the NFL.
There's not, but that I agree with you.
But
that's not the way to tackle it.
But let's also be realistic. In the whole grand scheme of like coaching in college, it's probably similarly proportioned.
Probably.
I mean,
Somebody get us that number. That'd be cool.
But you can't just automatically say, well, hey, you hired, someone of anything other than a white dude. This is the first I'm hearing this, by the way, so it's got me in shock. Anything other than a white dude, and you're going to bump up 10 picks in the draft? You're going to get an extra second rounder?
Silly. Here's what needs to happen.
What the hell?
The solution is, one, patience, and two, I hate to be morbid, but I said this on Twitter on our show account. It's not going to be that long before a whole lot of rich ass white guys that take in the fact of color, they're not going to be around forever.
Oh yeah, those guys they're fading out.
They're fading out, and I'm not trying to put all the blame on owners, but I am saying, I mean, I don't know what Jerry Jones is like, but from what I gather, he's kind of an asshole. Have we ever seen a coach that's not white on the Cowboys? Like, Jerry Jones is eventually going to be gone.
Yeah.
Guys like Jerry Jones are eventually going to be gone. The only thing that worries me is, like, 2016, we were heading in the right direction as far as equality. It's kind of taken a hit, and I'm not blaming that on anyone in particular. It's like our country's idiots came out of the woodworks when they felt like it was safe. Like, oh, Obama's not in presidency anymore. Now I can be racist again.
Yeah,
but
that's dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand what they're doing. And apparently, according to Porkman, who told me, Roger Goodell supports this, and I just
let me ask you.
That's all I got on it. I think it's asinine.
I'm going to throw this out here just to put it into some sort of perspective. Let's say that you are, a top tier team. Let's say that Andy Reid decides to quit next year. And basically this rule's in effect.
They've got a guy in the wings that
But let's say Brian Flores has turned around Miami. Let's call it 3 years from now. Brian Flores.
Let's call it 2020.
Yeah, he's turned around Miami and shown that he's an excellent head coach. And you've got to choose between him or, like, I'm just throwing a name out here, Pete Carroll. Someone else who's a very, a prominent coach in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan, someone who's proven their worth. And now it's like, well, I mean, we get an extra second rounder. We're already a great team.
Right.
I mean, that is crazy. And I don't think in the competitive world that the NFL is, I don't think that any coach really wants that. I think they want to prove their worth. Now, with that being said, every person of every color and, by the way, either sex should be able to prove their worth and have a fair shake.
Absolutely.
It should be almost a double-blind interview with a double, we don't know whether it's man or woman, black, white, Latino, anything on the other side of the screen, and that's how it should be taken. The answer, I guess, I don't know. The downside to that is you can't see leadership on written down answers.
Right.
You can't hear leadership, and from someone who interviews people quite often for different positions throughout my career, I mean, it's you look for those things, and sometimes it's the attitude and the presentation, and I don't think that don't think Ron Rivera would ever present bad in an interview. I don't think Brian Flores is going to present bad in an interview. I don't know how the hell Adam Gase got another job, but that's a different story for a different day.
But you spoke about the Chiefs and Andy Reid, so here's where this starts to make me mad. So we've got a guy in Kansas City that's a head coaching candidate that is the perfect guy to replace Andy Reid if he would leave, and it's Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator. This is a bona fide head coaching hire. So before he earns his head coaching rights, his head coaching job, you're going to put this silly stipulation in front of there to make him feel like he didn't work his ass off to earn it. Piss on that.
Eric Bieniemy would be the head coach. He'll be a head coach next year. I'm shocked he wasn't a head coach this year.
I am too, but I think that was by his own choosing.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think he entertained the thought as much as he should have.
Yeah.
And
why
maybe
would you?
Yeah.
You got the opportunity to work with Patrick Mahomes for a decade and a half. I wouldn't leave either. And Andy Reid, if he wins another one, I mean, he'll probably walk on. Could. Maybe not. Maybe he wants to be the 6-7 championship guy. Who knows? But Eric Bieniemy probably wants to be that too, and he's willing to sacrifice a head coaching job to ride this dynasty wave and help them. I mean, listen, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs' offense clicks on all cylinders for a multitude of reasons, and Eric Bieniemy is one of them.
Alex Smith was a good quarterback there.
Absolutely. I don't know if Bieniemy was there then or not, but
I mean, the Andy Reid offense, and he's understands Andy Reid's playbook. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
He was there. He's been there 6 seasons. This will be the 6th season. So yeah, he was
as OC the whole time.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't think he's OC the whole time, was he? I want to say
18. He was the offensive coordinator.
I thought it was 2 years.
He was a running back coach since 13. Chiefs have produced running backs like crazy. Anyways, let's get off this topic.
15 years.
We don't like the idea of this. I think it's kind of silly, and I think any young or old, for that matter, head coaching candidate of color should absolutely just beg for this not to happen because it's just kind of silly. Anyways, so back to what we were talking about. Unless you've got something else.
Man, I'm ready for sports. I'm ready for something that is sports related.
I need to watch the UFC that happened. I have not watched it yet.
I haven't either.
But
I was occupied. I had to play a game in the Geist League, which is really fun. I made a new friend there. We've got some mutual enemies in the league, so he's good. He's real good. He's like 19 and just beat the brakes off me. Of course, we're supposed to draft and our teams individually, and he picks the Chiefs, and by God, Derrick Henry on Madden. It's just not fair.
Right. Well, here's some numbers. I can't prove them, but my friend Chris over at Gut Punch News, a podcast, he just reported on the live stream, Black Americans are 12% of the American population. Hispanics are roughly 16. So if you do the numbers, you do the math, 4 coaches technically would be black according to those numbers. 5 would be Hispanic. He says rough numbers. Yeah, it is rough numbers, but I don't know. I think it is 4 and 4 on GMs and coaches maybe, but I just wanted to spit that out there because he provided it, and he's always good with numbers. So thanks, Chris, for the information. Now, do we get football this year?
I think so. I actually said from the beginning of this, and by the way, I'm not any sort of medical professional. I don't get it. That's not my thing. I'm not going to say.
I thought you were a gynecologist once.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about that. Unlicensed.
Black market gynecologist.
Yeah, I mean, I was never about diagnosis. Anyhow,
$5. I'll pay you to let me check it out.
It's med school.
Right.
Don't worry. Went to the University of Puerto Rico, San Juan, based out of Columbus. Anyhow, I'm just trying to make something that might really be a thing.
I like it.
Anyhow, God, I lost my train of thought here. What was we talking about?
Well, you're not a doctor.
Oh, okay. From the get-go, I just felt like, think about flu season and everything. I'm like, it's got to be, October. And then they start doing, the stay-at-home orders and whatnot. The curve is flattened a lot. And the one thing that's frustrating me is basically every legitimate medical professional that's ever has come out and said, oh, the masks, unless you have an N95 mask or better, is ineffective. And now they're, DeWine is telling people, you got to wear your mask if you want to open your doors as a business. Like, you're literally telling us, everyone's telling us it's not effective, but you're going to make us do it anyway?
Yeah. We have people walking into my place of business with a headband across their mouth and a headband across their nose. It's just not. And we can't turn them away because they're covering the orifices that we're worried about.
They got a mask.
They got a mask.
And there's a lot of studies that show, like too much of a lack of contagions in your environment actually damages your immune system.
That's a fact.
And so more or less,
this is why Arms got into gynecology.
Yeah, this is exactly why I was a gynecologist once. The more that you are going down that road of completely eliminating, like, you're going to walk outside and, like, I made the joke, I'm like someone who wears a mask every day, gloves, safety glasses, won't go out in public. They're going to walk outside and they're like, damn it, I got leukemia today.
Yeah.
Whenever all this is over, and I know that's not how you catch it. It's a poor off-color joke, sorry, but
we get the point, though. I mean, it makes the point.
Yeah, your immune system's broke down, and something worse, not worse maybe is going to happen, but something as equally catastrophic is going to happen that wouldn't have been a negative effect on you if nothing happened.
And I can tell you, I may be 100% wrong, but I have taken pride of the fact that I do not take medicine almost for any reason. I do not go to the doctor. I do not shy away from germs. I just don't. I don't, and I don't get sick. I don't get sick.
Dude, I agree.
I don't get the flu. I don't get the flu shot. I don't get any shot. I don't get shit, and I don't get sick. So I'm not wearing a mask right now, and you can judge me on that if you would like to. I don't wear it everywhere. There are places that I do. Any business that wants me to wear it, I'm going to wear it. But I kind of value my immune system, which I think is fairly strong.
I also value my freedom. So different story for a different day. I'm not going to go down that road too much.
And I'm with you on that.
But what I will say is,
I need my adrenochrome. I can't go out and buy it if I don't have freedom.
Whenever I was younger, so growing up, I grew up on a hog farm. I literally scooped pig shit out of a pen with shorts and tennis shoes on. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm wearing. And I was never sick as a kid, and it's like the older I get, the more of a reclusive I become, and that's based on work and, lack of being able to get out and do things based on time. The more likely I am to get sick. I mean, God forbid I actually, eliminate all contagions from my lifestyle. It's just to me a bad recipe. Once again, we're not medical professionals. Maybe we're way off base. Don't take our word for anything.
Yeah,
do your own research.
These are just opinions, and the reason I'm comfortable speaking my opinions, and I'll end it on this,
because
I'm comfortable.
Podcast.
Well, I'm comfortable speaking them because what you think is truth just may not be truth. How many doctors and medical professionals have we seen post videos and they all contradict each other? They all say different things. The media says different things. Like, at this point in 2020, we have no clue what the damn truth is. So all we have to go off of, honestly, is opinions for the most part. You could say, oh no, go read this, go read that. I'm sorry, I'm sick of reading all of it.
Look up the Tuskegee experiment.
Everyone, everyone is an expert, and it just makes everything hard to believe. So, moving on.
Shall we talk about football?
We shall talk about football.
Football Americano.
Football Americano, not the football with the white and black ball. This is the brown ball made from a pig. The pig skin, as they call it in the Midwest, which is where we are from, and I think they call it that everywhere. But let's dive right in. So, we got some guys from the Back Row Fantasy Show Network. I'll plug that real quick. We are striving to put out 32 team-oriented podcasts. We're at 13. There's some great guys like Matthew Bruning from the Fantasy Football Roundtable, Michael Bauer from the Dynasty Rewind, doing the Browns and Eagles, respectively, and a whole lot more. Our own Dan Rozier doing the Giant Show, which is entertaining as all get out. It's almost more comedy than football. It's wonderful, Arms.
Well, I mean, it's a Giants podcast, so it's got to be hilarious.
Right. It's called the Gettleman Shake. No, it's not. But anyways, we've got a lot of our guys that we've met in this podcasting adventure doing the mock draft with us. So there's really no bum.
No amateurs.
There's no bum or amateurs in this draft. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some crazy-ass picks.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do this startup draft to see where the rookies compare to the veterans. We all know where the rookies are going in mock draft, or not mock drafts, but in dynasty drafts. That's some heavy-ass rain.
Yeah,
Me and Arms did this, last week?
Yeah.
We looked at some drafts. So this is going to give you a better perspective on where does Keyshawn Vaughn fall as opposed to someone else. So let's, I don't really want to say the names all the time. Like I don't really want to. We can talk about the picks, but I don't want to say 101 Branson picked. No one's going to remember the names, so to speak. But obviously, we had McCaffrey go 1-1. No rookie is going to go in the first round, right?
In theory.
In theory, and it's a 12-teamer. This is a 12-team setup. It's a very standard 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wides, and a tight end.
PPR.
Didn't mess with defenses, didn't mess with a flex. We're just going to run these guys out on the field, old school Yahoo style, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So McCaffrey.
And through this experiment, I will say I've discovered I really like in a startup to just include the rookies.
Yes, we have definitely figured that out. I think every year I'm going to do either a redraft or a new startup that does have the rookies mixed in instead of separate rookie drafts because it was fun.
Yeah.
This gives you that feeling of like in the 6th round, you're like, I just grabbed some crazy good upside with this first round receiver rookie.
Yeah.
And it feels nice.
It does. It feels
real
great.
Nice. So should we just base this about rookies? We don't have time to talk about every single pick, obviously, but we can scroll through the big names.
Yeah.
And then talk about some of the rookies that went and what veterans went behind them that maybe shouldn't have.
Yeah, we're 9-10 rounds deep into this, guy, so we don't want to be a 4-hour show. I mean, we do, but you ain't gonna listen to it, so we're going to kind of buzz through it.
Yeah, it's a little too long.
So McCaffrey goes 101. He's in a league by himself right now.
Right.
I mean, with the receiving, kind of chalk. Saquon goes 2. There was a decision made though. He almost went Dalvin. So, but the theory is, Saquon is he's just scratching the surface, and I do agree. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I think that CMC is far and away the best fantasy running back, it wouldn't shock me if Saquon took the mantle this year because I do think he's that talented.
Well, yeah, and we've said it before on the show, we don't see a lot of guys finish number 1 year after year. I mean, it takes a special LaDainian Tomlinson-like guy, I can't even think of another one. I want to say Priest Holmes kind of things. But, I mean, McCaffrey should. I mean, if Saquon doesn't take the leap and the line's not better, yeah, McCaffrey will probably be the best one again. But Saquon has a chance, so I like him at 102. Zeke goes 103. I think that's fine. I think it's perfectly fine, but he doesn't have a chance at 1 overall, in my opinion.
Oh, man, he's going to have such a clean box this year, though. I mean, that's potentially
coming straight from the gynecologist.
Yeah, no, potentially vulgar sound term, but that is something I've actually looked at a lot in where some of these running backs go, and I think I wouldn't mind Zeke even 101 because I think he's going to have the most wide open running he's ever had with the best, arguably the best line in the NFL.
Right, but do they even need to throw him the ball like McCaffrey gets the ball? I mean, but with that wide receiver stack, do they even need to throw it to him in the flat?
But we could also be looking at 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, well,
that's what makes Zeke incredibly interesting.
Well, there's another guy that's similar to him that went not too much later, but we had first wide receiver Michael Thomas come off the board at 4, then Dalvin that you were talking about, Kamara 7, Mixon 8, Lamar Jackson at 9, a little early. I said we didn't have any bums.
One thing I'll say about Kamara, obviously my pick, he's my boyfriend.
Still high upside.
But he's, in a full season, never finished lower than running back 4, and I get him at 7. Cannot beat that.
I have zero problems with it.
So,
I mean, looking at the guys that went after him, I would have considered Kamara at 7 as well. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger or not, but it would have been a tough decision.
I thought it was a no-brainer at 7.
It might be. If I was in that position, it might stick out to me. I'm like a draft in the moment guy. Like someone stands out to me big time. That's usually how it works. But Joe Mixon went 8. I thought that was solid. Lamar, like we just said, went 9. A little high, but then again,
he's got the running back numbers.
Yeah. I mean, then it could pay dividends. I took Derrick Henry at 10 because I just felt like he was the best value on the board, and I wanted to get that running back. Receiver is a deep position.
So I agree with you, and I like your pick there. The funny thing about this is the kid I was playing with in the Geist League, Savage League, I believe is the name of it. We were talking. He had Derrick Henry on his team as we were playing, and I'm like, Derrick Henry, like, he's a first round talent all day, really, in fantasy. He was like, second's kind of a stretch. I'm like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, he's more of a third round running back. I'm like,
no.
In fantasy football? He's like, yeah. I'm like, nah, man. This guy's a first rounder all the way. I mean, led the league in rushing last year and showing no signs of slowing down right now.
No. Third round running backs, just for the sake of argument with this guy. Austin Ekeler, first running back taken in the third. Melvin Gordon went in the third. That's a little ludicrous. Todd Gurley, Fournette, Lev Bell.
Don't you dare knock my Melvin Gordon.
DeAndre Swift. No. He should
going
have
that
went
low?
sooner.
Okay.
But no, Derrick Henry is a different level than these guys. Not fantasy-wise. Melvin Gordon should be close in points with him. But, I mean, Derrick Henry is like, you're waiting for a crazy season out of him because he has that kind of potential. I'm not passing on.
He's always in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm not passing on Derrick Henry. It's a run-first team.
There's nobody else they're handing the ball to inside the 10.
There's not a guy like Derrick Henry. I don't recall seeing a guy like Derrick Henry. That doesn't mean he's
Brandon
the best.
Jacobs, but with
Derrick
speed now?
Derrick Henry could run circles around Brandon Jacobs. Like, this is a big dude that's fast and sheds tackles like crazy. Like, this is a monster.
Yeah.
So I think you take a monster at 110, it's fine. Julio Jones at
One
11.
knock I'll give on Henry, and sorry to cut you off here.
Fuck you.
I know, but the concern about Henry in Dynasty for me is his type of play. He is a violent runner, and he takes hits. He sheds them off because he's huge. Could shorten his career, but he's still going to have 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a high level. So, yeah, I love the pick. I'm just saying, if someone's concerned that way, maybe drop him a couple picks.
He looks like Deontay Wilder with a football helmet on. I mean, seriously, the dude is just
scarier.
Yeah, he looks like he could eat DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy stuff. So Devontae Adams went 12. No rookies yet. We dive into the second. We got Tyreek Hill at 201.
Keep in mind this is snake draft, of course.
Snake draft, yes. So
it went
back-to-back,
Adams,
Tyreek.
same guy.
Mm-hmm. DeAndre Hopkins, 202. I honestly would have taken him over Tyreek Hill.
Well, I would as well.
I would have taken him over Devontae, too, to be honest.
And I'll be honest, just throwing it out there, it would be really close based on age with him and Julio.
I agree. 1,000%, actually. So, to me, DeAndre Hopkins still deserves to be the second wide receiver off the board. I actually think he'll do better in Arizona.
The dude was, I think, wide receiver 1 with Tom Savage as quarterback half the season.
Yeah, Tom Savage.
Jesus.
Not Tom Selleck, Tom Savage.
As much as I knock on Kyler Murray, he is leaps and bounds better than Tom Savage.
1,000%.
Macho Man Tom Savage.
So then after Hopkins, I took Patrick Mahomes 203. I tend to make this a habit in the second round. If Mahomes falls there and I have the chance, I take him. Travis Kelce.
Can we agree? A much safer pick than Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, it is. It is safer.
For what he can do.
It is safer. And the ceiling is probably the same height.
Yes.
The floor, Patrick Mahomes owns the floor.
There we go. And Patrick Mahomes is, this is having Peyton Manning available, but possibly at a higher level.
Now, I'm talking he owns the floor long term. I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson doesn't have an amazing floor for 2020, but a lot of his production comes from running, and go look at running quarterbacks throughout the past. Like, they don't get better with age running the ball. They become better passers sometimes.
I mean, but Michael Vick, it was like every other year he was QB like top 3 or
slowly
literally fell
down.
off, it got injured. I mean, that nature of the beast for him. The thing, and by the way, I'm not going to sit here and say Mahomes is Manning, but he's certainly on that trajectory to be above Manning at the end of the day. At the end of his career. He's on a trajectory to pass him, and that's incredible.
If you want to project him, he ends up being the best quarterback of all time. So it's hard to pass on him.
One of the earliest Super Bowl wins, in the career. Good luck finding a fault in his game.
Right. There is none. There really isn't. And if you find one, you're nitpicking. So Travis Kelce went at 204, first tight end off the board. I'm fine with it.
Same.
Miles Sanders, I think, is a banger pick at 205. They're talking about bringing Carlos Hyde in, which I know we roll our eyes. It's Carlos Hyde, but the fact remains the Eagles have a hard time committing to one back. So if they bring him in, he'll probably get 10 carries.
Sanders is so efficient with the rock in his hand.
Frank Gore has ate into people's production for the last 18,000 years.
But I was so aggravated. I'm the next pick, and I was wanting Sanders right there.
Oh, nice.
So anyhow,
you took Kittle, which again, Kittle, Kelsey, splitting hairs. So I'm fine with that pick
elite
there
tight
as well.
end, elite tight ends. There's 2 players.
Still no
That's
rookies.
2 players in elite tight end. You got to win positions. That's what this is about for me.
Right. Chris Godwin goes. I have no issue there, even though I think he declines a little bit on not his physical.
Yeah.
He's
play.
not going to put up the same numbers. I'm sorry, he's just not. Kenyon Drake at 208. This one's odd, but I like it. I
don't.
I do. Kenyon Drake, he's the clear-cut guy in Arizona.
He is.
And that's going to be that offense is going to get a little better every year, maybe a lot better real quick. He can do it all. I look for receiving backs in the second and third round. I don't focus on, the bell cow guys that don't catch the ball like Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, fine pick in the second. No problem with it. I honestly would rather have Drake because of the receiving.
But as we look at what Drake did, so in fantasy points in Week 9, he had 24 against a stout 49ers defense. And then it was 5, 8, 5, 7. Then 39 against Browns, 31 against the Seahawks, and 14 against the Rams. I just feel it was a little bit of a reach for Kenyon Drake, considering some of the other players that was available on the board. Now, if you believe in Kenyon Drake, I don't hate what you're thinking.
And that's me. I believe in him. So to me, it's not a reach, but I do understand for anyone else, it could be considered a reach because I love him.
And I think the mentality on this is like it was Corey at the Real Dynasty. I felt like he had to get a running back. So let's see where we're at. Next pick, Josh Jacobs, and that's where it kind of becomes an issue for me. I personally take Josh Jacobs over Kenyon Drake. Then all of a sudden we've got our first rookie off the board, and that's CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, even Fantasy Fuel, he puts in the note, maybe a tad early, but the fit in KC is undeniable, hopefully for years to come. And I don't disagree. And this is a question I posed on Twitter. Does CEH become your RB1? And, I mean, people were torn. If he went to KC, and I said this way before draft, if he somehow goes to KC, is he your RB1? And he is. The draft shows it. He's your new RB1. Part of that probably had a lot to do with other players' landing spots, of course. But
right. I will say this. I think Melvin Gordon, who went at where'd he go?
307.
He went 307. So Edwards-Helaire at 210. I think Melvin Gordon should have went ahead of CEH, ahead of Josh Jacobs, and ahead of Kenyon Drake.
I agree.
And ahead of Miles Sanders, honestly. Melvin Gordon to me is an early second round pick.
He was a first rounder in most drafts last year.
Yeah, I don't care that he went to Denver. The situation is basically the same.
The cream rises, brother. The cream rises to the top.
Well,
Melvin Gordon is far and away the best running back on that team.
They've got Phillip Lindsay, but he had Austin Eckler in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And San Diego's line, not great. Denver is ready to fire on all cylinders. Melvin Gordon is going to be fine. So I think Melvin Gordon should have went ahead of these guys. I don't think he should have been taken after any rookies. J.K. Dobbins went ahead of Melvin Gordon as well.
Aaron Jones
212
went at the following pick after CEH.
Right.
And then, like you said, J.K. Dobbins. Then
we love J.K.
I do.
But not that shouldn't have happened.
I mean, no matter how good J.K. Dobbins is this year, no matter how good, I don't think it's a better than 60-40 split for either guy.
Right. Now, I will say, if this is Dynasty, for real, maybe you think about it. But Melvin Gordon's still young. I don't even want to say, I'm not going to say maybe. It may pan out the other way in a couple years. J.K. could be a higher pick than Melvin Gordon in a couple years, but I'm a win now guy.
Thank you.
Melvin Gordon is going to help me win now. J.K. Dobbins, likely not. So CEH, I'm okay with that pick. Aaron Jones, of course, I'm okay with that. Dobbins, not quite okay, and I'm not quite okay that Melvin Gordon fell all the way to 307 to Arms,
I'm
which is a great pickup for Arms. But Austin Eckler went ahead of Melvin Gordon. Like, the guy behind Melvin Gordon is Todd Gurley. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with this picture.
I know. And
it doesn't work.
It's your guys. You pick your own guys. These aren't our teams. But, you know, to round out, you know, or to start the round 3, it went Kenny G. And like you said, Eckler, Mike Evans at 303. I mean, Evans or OBJ, and he's right. OBJ is a little too volatile to be your number 1 wide receiver.
Agreed.
I experienced that. But I think I agree with Evans falling a little bit, but Evans is a first-round draft pick every other year, and you're thinking that, oh, well, you know, Tom Brady can't get it downfield. He will win every jump ball, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're still going to be.
Monster.
Yeah. Tom Brady's not a shitty quarterback. I mean, you can't just write these wide receivers from Tampa Bay off. I think you just take them down a notch. I just don't think they're both going to finish as top 10 guys.
But
I think
can't believe
one
the
of them
gap between him and Godwin.
I know. It makes no damn
the
sense.
The direction it went.
Mike Evans, I want Mike Evans over Godwin.
Yes, I agree with you.
I just do. Mike Evans has a track record.
Godwin has 2 years. I'll give him that.
Mike Evans has one of the
He has
best.
like 5.
Mike Evans has one of the best NFL starts ever. I mean, the guy has been money every single year. I don't think Godwin is automatically money every year. He wasn't great his rookie year. He was fine.
Mike Evans out here playing power forward against guys 4 inches shorter than him every week, and, I mean, dominating.
What if Tom Brady decides that Mike Evans is the guy that he wants to lock onto?
And he does that.
He does.
You know,
Julian Edelman, case in point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's made his career outside of the couple seasons with Randy Moss. Tom Brady has made his career of pretty much picking a guy or two and hammering him with the ball.
Right. So that's a little ludicrous. Mike Evans going that late. Cooper Kupp goes next. I don't have an issue with it.
Man,
Allen Robinson, I don't have an issue.
Could be a top 3 receiver, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Then we got another rookie sighting at 306, our boy Matty Ice, which he changed his name to Matty Ice. I love it. He takes Jonathan Taylor ahead of Melvin Gordon. Again, I don't like that Melvin Gordon fell to you. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'll get off of that. Jonathan Taylor would have been a fine pick if Gordon went 1 spot ahead of him.
Yeah.
But I still don't like the rookies going this high because then we've got Gurley. I would have taken all the rookies so far over Gurley.
I'm looking at Melvin Gordon. I'm looking at Todd Gurley, both who are going to have very clean boxes with, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
I don't even want to think about Gurley until some of these other names went off. Me personally.
Yeah, but you're basing that off of,
I'm basing it off the fact that they're probably going to give him 15 carries. I want a higher ceiling of opportunity than what Gurley's going to get. Seemingly
an elite guy. I mean, Devontae Freeman, when healthy, had okay production. Todd Gurley does have elite talent.
Yeah, Gurley's an upgrade on Freeman at this point in their careers. And I think Gurley's fine. I think Gurley's going to be highly effective on the touches he gets, but I don't think his touches are going to come anywhere near Melvin Gordon or Fournette that went after him, or Le'Veon Bell that went after him, which I took Lev Bell 310. I think he's going to have a massive rebound due to the offensive line upgrades and just team upgrades overall. They've got better receivers now, too, which isn't saying much, but I think Lev Bell is going to have a resurgence. But DeAndre Swift, like all these guys went in a cluster. And Melvin Gordon is the guy that should have went way higher. I think Todd Gurley should have went after all of these guys. If Todd Gurley goes from 308 to after Fournette, after Lev Bell, after DeAndre Swift, then I'm okay with it right there. But I think it's crazy to take Gurley over Bell, Swift, maybe not Fournette. Yeah, it probably is. Fournette's going to be a bell cow even if he gets traded. So I like Gurley after those guys.
But, I mean, outside of last year, I mean, in last year, he double-digit touchdowns. In his career, 2016, he had 6 touchdowns. Every other year, he's been above 10. Weapon-wise, I don't think we can make the argument that the Rams had any better weapons, at receiver than what Atlanta has right now. I think we could pretty much say at this point in their career, actually any point in career, Matty Ice is better than Jared Goff.
Absolutely.
So, like, man, I hate the hate on Gurley. I understand the knee issue. I get that.
Listen, I'm only asking that he goes like 5 spots lower,
Okay,
4 to 5.
okay.
I'm not saying he's just not draftable. I'm saying
12 touchdowns on the ground last year,
well,
2 more in the air.
let me just run it by you. I just want to make sure. So, who you got, Gurley or Fournette?
Gurley
or Bell?
Probably Gurley. I'm not sure Bell bounces back.
Gurley or DeAndre Swift?
That's a bad team situation for me, though, for Bell. If Bell's most other places in the league, I would take Bell.
Bell still put up a top 12 season with that shitty team.
How many touchdowns did he get?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I think 7.
It's less than 14.
Well, yeah.
It's by a pretty good margin.
Rushing, he had a lot of receptions, too, so I just,
Gurley had 31, and that's like a career low for him.
Right. I just...
he didn't come off the field in Atlanta.
Another year on the knees that are not just possibly bad, they're bad.
I'll give you this. It's Dynasty, and we are not just trying to win this year. We're trying to win next year and the year after as well. I don't hate where you're going with this. The disrespect for Todd Gurley is ludicrous right now. It is unreal. It's horrible.
There was a big drop off from 18 to 19. I mean, it was big. Lev Bell's wasn't his drop off was big because of the.
He's like nine spots from his like career low, other than the sit-out season.
Right, but I mean, we've got a change in team, a bad line, no weapons. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but Todd Gurley got his workload cut. I mean, that factor scares me more than the Jets fielding the same exact team, which they're not. They're fielding an improved team in the division without the Patriots. So
we're still with one receiver.
I think they got 2. They got Brashard Perryman, who I think will be an okay number 2 in the league now. I think he's came a long ways.
But they're going to treat him as a number 1.
They might, but then you've got Denzel Mims. I mean, Denzel Mims could emerge as that guy that frees up Perryman, and Jamison Crowder's fine. That's actually not a terrible wide receiver squad now.
It's not one you're ecstatic with. It could develop.
No.
I mean, Perryman, outside of a few games last year, he's been a disappointment his whole career.
Until now. I mean, over the course of the end of last season with Tampa
Brandon
Bay,
Lloyd with that 5th-year breakout?
Yes, Devontae Parker's done it too. I mean, listen, Brashard Perryman looked damn good in Tampa when he had to start. He looked great. I mean, he tore it up. So, yeah, I think he'll be okay. Anyways, somebody just asked if we're doing a listener league. We've been doing listener leagues. We got like 4 of them still running. So,
there's probably spots available.
Not now. DJ Moore goes next on the turn. DJ Moore, then the turn happens. Cam Akers. So we got another rookie running back.
I'm going to throw that out. DJ Moore, like, PPR monster.
Yeah, it's a great pick at 312. I mean, if you look at the wide receivers that went before him, it makes sense because Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp. I don't know about that.
If we're playing PPR, and Allen Robinson's inconsistent.
I don't know.
I mean, DJ Moore's young. That's a big reason why I like him. Anyway,
is Teddy Bridgewater going to make DJ Moore better, the same, worse? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
There's questions. But Allen Robinson's got a new quarterback too, so. Nick Foles.
Big Dick Nick.
Big Dick Nick. So Cam Akers, 401. What do you think about Cam going so high? 4 seems a little high in Dynasty, but considering Raheem Mostert went right after him, I'm not so sure.
Hey, man, Cam Akers, if there's a guy in the NFL who knows how to play behind a porous offensive line as a rookie, it's Cam Akers. I mean, the only difference is you don't break tackles like you did in the ACC. Like, you're playing with real big boys. I love that Cam Akers is he's walking in, most likely going to be the number 1 running back, in my opinion. I just don't know how productive he's going to be. It does scare me, considering guys like Chris Carson go later. So
right. Let's take a quick break. Not really a break, but I want to tell you about today's show sponsor, which is betonline.ag. With currently no NBA, NHL, or MLB, you might think there's nothing to bet on. Well, Arms, they're wrong. Our exclusive partner, BetOnline, still has hundreds of events, games, and props to wager on, from their online casino to poker and blackjack, as they are bringing the Vegas to you. You don't have to go to Vegas. You can just get on betonline.ag and pretend you're in Vegas virtually, just like the NFL draft happened. So, speaking of that draft, are you missing the NFL? No problem. BetOnline has live daily Madden NFL 20 simulations that you can wager on. You can bet on Madden simulations. You don't have to watch the games. You can watch the virtual games and bet on those. That kind of sounds like fun. I'm kind of interested
I don't hate
in
that.
And if you're into entertainment betting, you can also bet on Survivor, Big Brother, American Idol, stock prices, and even the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, which is pretty cool. All open 24 hours a day and all online. You don't have to wait in a ticket line. You're not betting on horses. You go straight to betonline.ag, bet on any of this stuff. Visit the website or use your mobile device and join today to receive your new welcome bonus with promo code CLNS50. That's CLNS50. Bet Online, your online wagering solution. Now back into this draft.
All right, so we're at 402 with Raheem Mostert. Man, that's still a timeshare, run heavy timeshare, but still a timeshare. And I've got my concerns about this pick. I mean, you've got Coleman still there. It seems like every other game you end up with someone you've practically never heard of with 2 touchdowns. Freddie Wilson Jr. Someone's going to end up with just random touchdowns that's going to leech away from Mostert. The bright side is they don't have Breida to do it, so it definitely bumps his value a little bit. Then you go to Beckham, OBJ.
That was me. I'm not a Beckham guy.
Me neither.
But I mean the name value and the possibility. I mean, he still could finish as a top 5 guy. He's got the ability. I don't think he will, but I'm taking the chance that I'm wrong by selecting Odell Beckham at 403, and that's probably the lowest he's went in a draft in his career.
Oh, I guarantee it. With that being said, we've got to realize that through 5 weeks, you could be trading Odell Beckham Jr. for DeAndre Hopkins. An even up trade after 5 weeks.
If he has a fast start, absolutely.
I mean, and someone might be approaching you over it because Hopkins may not assimilate to the offense as quickly as they think.
And that's exactly the chance I'm willing to take there with him.
Yeah.
So I like that analogy.
We got A.J. Brown going right after Beckham.
I'm okay with it.
Upside and chemistry with Tannehill.
We loved A.J. coming out.
A lot of people are high on A.J. Brown. I'm actually shocked that he fell to the 4th round. I know it's a startup, but I was a little bit surprised. I guess there's not a ton. I would probably take him over Allen Robinson, but not a ton of receivers that went above him that I don't agree with.
Right.
Thielen, Dan sniping me with Thielen. Dude, Dan, you're a dick. Man,
it's a dart throw still, though. I mean, he's going to be good, but
you've got injury concerns with most of these guys. I know he's 30, 31, but Adam Thielen could catch 140 balls this year. Wouldn't even surprise me. He's going to get targeted a ton until Justin Jefferson builds up some rapport,
which could take a minute.
Yeah.
So
it could be another situation where through 5 weeks, 6 weeks, he might be wide receiver 1 overall.
Right. You took Juju next, which I think is I think it's fine and it's not. It's fine and it's not. Cortland Sutton, I probably would have taken Cortland over him. Amari Cooper, I would have taken Amari over him. Yeah. Keenan Allen, I thought about Keenan Allen in the Odell Beckham spot at 403 as opposed to 411 where he actually went.
Juju with Big Ben is elite.
Maybe. We got 1 year. I mean, that's
okay.
That's
then
the
1 year without him, with a bunch of trash cans throwing him the football. I mean, nobody was producing in that offense. Nobody. James Conner, nobody. Quarterback wasn't producing. No receiver produced. He had hit and miss moments, but Juju is a clear cut number 1 overall receiver, and I just love where his high end potential here.
You give me one good, you give me one bad, I'm a little down on you. I need more on the scale for you than against you, so I am a little bit worried about Juju. Glad you took him, but it could pay big dividends. He's kind of like Beckham, kind of has top 10 potential. We just don't know what's going to happen. Cortland Sutton goes after him. Deshaun Watson at 408. That's kind of a steal at this point. I mean, a lot of people consider him to be up there with the elite, so to get him at 408, not so bad.
I'm a wait on a quarterback guy, though. It's so hard.
I am too, unless Mahomes falls to the second, then I'm pouncing.
Oh, yeah.
But Chris Carson, that's a little scary at 409, but again, it could pay dividends. Then you got Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, great picks at 10 and 11, in my opinion. Then we got Mark Ingram. I've forgotten about just because of J.K. Dobbins. Mark Ingram still probably got 2 1,000-yard seasons in him, in my opinion.
Just so we're clear, I'm not checking my text messages. My computer just all of a sudden went black.
No, you're good. We do what we want. We
Yeah.
do whatever we want. But Mark Ingram goes 4.12. That's a little late for me. I mean, I get it. He's 30. It's probably okay for some, but I still have love for Mark Ingram. Mark Andrews goes next. I think Mark Andrews is fine. He gave us a great season. He's going to give us another one.
Where do you think he finishes as, like, is he a
Top
top
five.
five? Top five?
Yeah, top five.
I'm with you.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% top 5. To me, he's just kind of a surprise. I mean, Kelsey took a minute to get going.
Yeah.
Kittle took a minute to get going.
One
season.
half of a season.
Mark Andrews already got going, and I don't think he's slowing down. I think Mark Andrews is going to be one of the best tight ends in the league for a long time.
Just so
I
we're
love it.
clear,
501.
if you look back on the early episodes, I called that. Just
Truth.
to know that.
Calvin Ridley, we love Calvin Ridley.
I was so mad about that pick, man.
Yeah,
So mad.
I wasn't happy either.
5 picks later, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, Calvin Ridley's going to fall to me, and he doesn't.
Yep, I wasn't happy either. So then we've got Devin Singletary going at 503. Here's where it starts getting dicey. So we got Ingram, Carson. That may have been where we start getting dicey just because of the injury. But Devin Singletary is a true. I need a running back. He's the best one left. Dart throw because you got Zach Moss in Buffalo now too, which we don't know exactly how it's going to pan out. You either like one or the other, and you got to roll with
Do
them.
you by chance have that Fantasy Fuels roster pulled up?
No.
Okay, I'll get it pulled up here in a second. I'm just wondering if that might be his first running back or just his second running back off the board. It's if you go to the top, it'll show you all the rosters. If you're on the draft page.
Might have to look. But anyways, Devin Singletary goes. Jerry Jeudy goes. I love Jerry Jeudy, but
No.
Stephon Diggs went after Jerry Jeudy.
Thank you.
What the hell's going on?
I wonder if that.
I love Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, but the only justification I have on taking Jeudy over Diggs is the concern that Josh Allen's not going to throw the ball enough to be effective with Jeudy and Brown, or not Jeudy and Brown, Diggs and Brown. Like, is that, if that's your concern, like I get it, but then like Keyshawn Vaughn goes.
Fantasy Fuel took Zeke and CEH, by the way, before even getting close to Devin Singletary.
So just punt and wide receiver, huh?
No, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, Jalen. I won't go in. Cooper, Evans, Perryman punted it a little.
I don't like Cooper. I think
Cooper.
If anybody gets their targets cut into, I do think it's Cooper. The inconsistency.
See, I think Gallup and Lamb are just going to have to fight for him. I think Cooper's still the guy.
I think Gallup's still the best receiver on the team.
Phew.
I think he'll be the best receiver on the team at least through this year because I do think Lamb's special.
Right. But Jerry Jeudy, that was shocking. Stephon Diggs in the 5th round, probably a steal. I don't give a damn that he's on Buffalo. Josh Allen, it takes a little step forward each year. He's never had anyone like Diggs.
No.
He hasn't.
Literally, he's had deep ball John Brown.
Yeah. And everybody thought, oh, well, John Brown's the new guy. No, we knew he wasn't going to be. We knew Buffalo wanted someone else, and they got him. Stephon Diggs at 505, absolute steal. Great job, Corey. This is one that I missed. I didn't know Keyshawn Vaughn went at 506, and I think it's garbage.
Yeah,
I think that's Matty Ice, and I'm sorry, Matt Bruning. Keyshawn Vaughn at 506, I don't agree with it. I'd have rather had Kareem Hunt that went at 509. I'd have rather had David Montgomery easily at 512. David Montgomery at 512. This is a guy that's primed for a second-year leap, and he goes after Keyshawn Vaughn. Now, I will give you one thing. Matt Bruning loves Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
He was high on him before the draft, so he believes in him. So I'll give you a bit of a pass there. But even if you believe in a guy, you're going to pass on David Montgomery? I'm sorry, Ronald Jones to me, currently, until we see what happens in a training camp, Ronald Jones is the guy. Peyton Barber is gone because Ronald Jones took the next step. Keyshawn Vaughn was drafted because they had no running back depth. Ronald Jones is the guy.
I'm literally agreeing with every point.
So we'll see what happens and how it shakes out.
To be the man, you got to beat the man, and he hasn't beat Ronald
Right.
Jones yet. It's not a Cam Akers situation.
And I am not saying Ronald Jones is like going to be some great fantasy stud, but he will.
But neither was Peyton Barber.
No.
You know what I mean?
But Ronald Jones will have his best year this year. I don't know if that means it's going to be great. I don't know if that means that Keyshawn Vaughn's not going to be right behind him stat-wise. Ronald Jones has earned the right from a leap last year. Not a major one, but a leap. I just don't like Keyshawn Vaughn that early, especially when you look at David Montgomery. I'm very high on Montgomery. Kareem Hunt is pretty damn good, and he's only got 1 year left in Cleveland unless they sign him again. He's reproven himself in the league.
Yep.
And he's young. So just don't love that. But after Keyshawn Vaughn, Robert Woods.
Dude, how does Woods fall this far? It's just
it's name recognition.
I was going to say that is a pure name recognition issue with Woods because, to be honest with you, he's good enough. And doggone it, people like him.
He's dang good.
Like, back-to-back seasons, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's like worst of the 2 seasons was 86 receptions and like 1,136 yards. That's the worst of the 2 seasons. We are playing PPR, guys, and for him to fall that far, especially with some of the rookies went ahead of him, I'm just like, I get we're playing Dynasty and we're looking at upside, but my guy's still going to be good for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
I'm feeling like I'm competing right now, and Woods was my second or third wide receiver.
Yeah, Woods is a great pick at 507. DJ Chark, I'd rather had Woods over Chark, just me.
That was a coin flip for me, though.
It is. It truly is. So Dan Rozier made the right pick with DJ Chark right after. And you sons of bitches stuck me in a position where I drafted 2 picks after DJ Chark. I drafted Tyler Lockett. I literally said in 2019.
Anybody but Tyler Lockett.
Oh, I specifically said Tyler Lockett is not a 5th-round pick in startups. I specifically said that.
He's barely.
I said it was
5'10".
too early, and then I go and I do it. Son of a bitch. So Tyler Lockett, I drafted him. It was a value thing. I liked him more than T.Y. Hilton that went after him. Hello.
Hello?
What's up?
Hey, what's going on tonight?
Just recording. I actually forgot we had the number posted on the live stream. What's up? Who we got?
Do you? Oh, my name's Dave. I'm calling from Canada. How you doing?
Canada. Love Canada. Kind of want to move there. We're doing great.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like your show's over, so I'll call back again.
Oh,
No.
We're right in the middle of it, brother.
Say what you wanted to say. He's gone.
He already hung up.
He's gone. You can call back for real. So anyways, I forgot it was up there, but it's still fun to have call-ins. Anyways, so Tyler Lockett, he hung up. Talk to us. It's fine.
Yeah, seriously.
So I took Tyler Lockett. I'd rather had him over T.Y. Hilton. DK Metcalf, I was really juggling between DK and Tyler Lockett. DK went at 601. I took Lockett at 510. I was on the fence.
I think I would have probably taken DK Metcalf.
I really thought about it. I really, really did.
And we'll admit our faults. We admit we were wrong with DK Metcalf. It turns out if you watch his games, he's still not crisp. He still has some tightness in his hips. I mean, his out routes are veers instead of cuts as far as that goes. But, man, DK, he turned it on last year, and he showed that he can be an absolute monster. And you know what? It's going up from here. He's got one of the best deep ball throwers in the league and out-bodying people, and ain't nobody got a body like him.
Right? No, that sounded a little weird. Ain't nobody got a body like you, DK. I'm going back to my old job at gynecology and hooping, just hooping you have the right parts when I take a look. So anyways, James Conner goes 602. This is where 6th round, this is exactly where you take a shot on a James Conner, who literally today, Mike Tomlin was talking about how when healthy, James Conner's a bell cow. So if he can stay healthy, this is a high upside pick at 602.
We're a year removed from running back 4 overall?
Right. And they did not, I mean, they drafted Anthony McFarland, and we like McFarland to an extent, but there is, make no mistake, Anthony McFarland did not get drafted to take James Conner's job.
No.
Anthony McFarland got drafted to potentially grow into that kind of role if Conner can't stay healthy.
It could be a little sooner than people expect. I mean, Anthony McFarland, I mean, he's a pedigree guy. I mean, he's got it all, the speed, the cut, NFL family. Like, he could eventually work into that role, but I don't think it's going to be early this year at all. And if Connor's performing, it's not going to be this year at all anyway.
Right.
You know, obviously there's some injury concerns with Connor, but you know, if there's injury concerns with every guy in the NFL, everybody has bad knees and everybody has a shoulder that's messed up.
That's kind of true.
You're hitting giant, you know, supermen out there. These guys aren't real humans, you know?
Right. So DK, James Conner, good picks in my opinion. Then I had to turn around after taking Tyler Lockett, and I went Devontae Parker, another guy that I do not love, but the value was there. And this is why I love that we have
Homer
these
pick.
guys. No, it's not.
Homer-
I don't even love Devontae
Homer
Parker.
pick. Yeah,
I
at the end
still-
of the year, you love Devontae
I
Parker.
still think he's lucky to get all those balls. I still think he's lucky to catch that many jump balls because he still can't separate. The guy still can't separate, and I like separation. We've talked about this. This is why we love Jerry Jeudy. Devontae Parker still can't separate. So I picked him because, honestly, there's no competition in Miami that could make Devontae Parker not the number one there. So
And in theory, Tua, you know, if he's going to play this year, which I believe he will, you know, I mean, they could sit him, but, man, Tua is
they'll sit him
is
until
an upgrade.
Fitzpatrick sucks and they know the line's good enough to protect Tua.
yeah, and they address the line like crazy in this draft. This is This was a great draft for the Dolphins.
Love it.
Tua's great, and he can put it. I mean,
He can
excuse
put
me,
it where Parker
he
can
looks,
catch it.
He looks great coming out.
Right.
And he can put it where only Parker's going to come down with it.
Yeah. And I was on the fence again between Parker and Jarvis Landry. And this is why this draft is working out, because the guy I'm on the fence about, like choosing between the two, multiple times in this draft, I picked the guy that I decided on, and the guy I was thinking about went right after. So Jarvis Landry goes right after Parker. I'm still on the fence about whether I made
Former
the right pick.
teammates.
Still on the fence because Jarvis Landry is basically PPR money.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I still am on the fence. I went with the slightly higher upside of Devontae Parker. Then Tyler Boyd goes. I'm not sure about this one anymore.
So one thing, so not to catch off on the Boyd thing, but Landry, I do think Baker bounces back.
I do too.
I think he's going to have a much better year.
Part of why I took Odell.
Kind of one of those that you forget about his sophomore season, and you know he kind of hits it back on the trajectory he looked like he was going to be on after his rookie year. I think Baker's going to be fine, and I don't hate Landry, and I value your opinion on him and Parker. I personally would have taken Landry just on the quarterback situation as it stands.
Totally understand.
So, but Boyd,
I thought for a while on that one, so I really did.
So Boyd, where you got him?
Boyd, see, the problem to me with Boyd, they just draft T. Higgins. A.J. Green somehow still stays in Cincinnati, which floors me. And even though it's a lesser name, Alden Tate is still there. And Alden Tate had an okay season as well. So unless Joe Burrow's bringing that LSU offense with him, I don't know about Tyler Boyd quite yet. I would have rather had Terry McLaurin, who you took right after him. You were probably stoked that Tyler Boyd went there.
I was taking Terry McLaurin over Parker, Landry, Boyd.
Quarterback situation aside, Terry McLaurin had a great rookie season with trash-ass quarterbacks. So if Dwayne Haskins takes a step, wouldn't you think Terry McLaurin probably will too?
Through the last few weeks, Haskins looked good.
Let's not talk about that.
Listen, I want to say he was like number 2 in the NFL in passer rating over the last 3 weeks.
Music.
I just think he's going to be good. You love Baker. I love Haskins. I mean, it is what it is.
I don't love Baker.
I will tell you, I was torn between McLaurin and Gallup, and my hope was that somebody was afraid of CeeDee Lamb. So that's the reason I took McLaurin where I got him. Followed up with Matty Ice, of course. He takes Baker.
Do you care to talk about Haskins for another minute?
Why?
I mean, just about how you think he's going to be pretty good.
He is going to be good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Haskins is going to throw 50 touchdowns a season, but he is going to be, let's see, who else in the division? He's probably going to be upwards the first or second best quarterback in the division by the end of next year.
And coming out, you loved him, right?
Yes.
You thought he would break the rookie touchdown record.
Hey, first off, bad team.
Special place in your heart for him.
They struggled all year. And he didn't start for the biggest part of the year. You throw him in on spot duty whenever the other team's dominating, and he's got to go heave up, a long ball to try to hope and a prayer. Yeah, you know what? He threw some interceptions, but once he got the start, the interceptions went away.
You're on the Back Row Fantasy Show live. How can we help you tonight?
Hello, hi. I was just calling in. I'm a big fan of the show.
Appreciate
and I wanted
that.
to ask you guys' opinion. I wanted to ask you guys' opinion. How do you guys feel about Debo going in the 6th round, 11 in your mock draft?
Oh, what's up, Reginald?
My guy. You know what? I like it.
I actually like it too, because to me, Debo Samuel was just a tick behind A.J. Brown. So to get him that much later than A.J. Brown, and he's a weapon. Debo Samuel, I do that all the time. I know, I love it. He's still going to get carries. Matt Breita's gone, so Debo's still going to be that Swiss Army knife. I love Debo. Our favorite receivers, my top 2 receivers last year was A.J. and Debo. So I have zero qualms about Debo at 6'11". I actually loved it. And thanks for calling in. And go check out the Oakland, not the Oakland, God bless America.
Las Vegas Raiders?
The Back Row Raiders show. It don't even have Las Vegas in the title.
Hey, seriously, though, to point out with Debo, I would take Debo probably right behind McLaurin and right ahead of Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I think it's
and
a great
all
spot.
of those above Parker and Landry Boyd.
It's a great spot.
Yeah, I think Gallup was still there, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. And I looked at
I agree.
San Francisco isn't going to throw the ball a ton, but who is their number one? Kittle, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
de facto is Debo Samuels. And then I followed that up, and I just picked up Emmanuel Sanders. I had Keenan Allen, high in age. I needed a young guy right there.
Sanders is
So
going to
that was
have
my process of thinking.
And Sanders is going to have a great season. You may not get more
Yep.
than one, but he's going to have one absolutely solid fantasy season. I've been picking him up everywhere I can.
I love Sanders' fit in New Orleans as well. I mean,
Beautiful. They haven't had a number 2 there forever.
ever. Like, what? Ted Ginn was their only legitimate-ish number 2, and
Kenny Stills at one time, maybe.
I mean, he's never going to face not only not the best cornerback, but he's also not going to get safety shade on his side. I mean, Sanders is going to be a baller pick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, last question. I hadn't been hearing too much about, I got a soft part for the Dolphins in my heart. Will Preston Williams be ready at the start of the season?
Hey,
Are we looking at a Rashad Penny situation?
It's called pity. That's the term you're looking for. That soft spot is pity. But I don't know if Preston Williams will be ready, but what I will tell you about Preston Williams is
he was the best receiver on the team at
if
times.
we knew for a fact he was going to start season, he should have been way higher on this list.
Wait a minute. Let's make sure Reginald's not on the clock before we go talking
he
up
might
Preston
be.
Williams.
He might be.
I just picked. I'm off now.
All right. No,
I just picked Preston Williams.
I don't believe Preston Williams will be there to the start. I think he'll miss the first 3 to 4 games, but as soon as he comes back, he can get open. Devontae Parker really can't. Devontae's a high ball guy. Preston Williams
is a monster.
Preston Williams is going to be a pretty damn good player if he can keep his head on straight, as long as he don't go all Quentin Dunbar and
DeAndre
and
Baker.
DeAndre
Jesus,
Baker on
DeAndre.
people.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
another
was
podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast. So
Someone get Dan on here.
You guys take care.
Thanks
Keep
for
up the
calling in,
great
man.
work, and I'll try to call in as whenever I can. I got to get you guys a schedule down because I love catching you guys on Twitch. I'm actually watching you guys right
it's
now.
all
Good
over
work.
it's been all over the place. Me and Arms haven't sat in the same room in a while
It's like a
because of
month and
all
a
this
half,
crap.
yeah.
So usually Friday nights, usually 9:30. We started early just because we could, and yeah, that's what it is. But thanks for calling in. Thanks for doing the Raiders show. It's a damn good show.
Yep.
And if you go follow the network, tell them exactly the name because I've drank a few and I know it's the network with a 33 in it, but tell them where to go.
Yeah.
Because you on Twitch, that's some good shit too. Like I enjoy that and I watch it when I can. So tell everybody where to find you on there, not just for the Raiders show, but everything you do.
You got it. You guys can check come find me at, if you're looking for me, look for TH33 Network 1. That's the best way to say it. You can find me on on Twitter, and from Twitter, you can find me everywhere. That's probably the easiest route. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Come on and join the fun. I'm having a good time, a great time, hanging out with the Back Row Network.
Yes, he does have a good time. No matter what he's doing, it's a good time, and it's enjoyable to watch. Thanks, Reginald, man. Thank you a ton.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
And his Twitch is on another level, too. Like, our Twitch is – sorry, the love triangle's over with you and Dwayne and Terry.
And Darius Guys. So
Darius Guys. But
too.
our Twitch is shit compared to Reginald's Twitch. He's got the green screen. He's got all kinds of it looks good. Good fucking props up to Reginald. So back to this draft. I'm excited tonight.
Oh,
finally.
I'm loving this.
Finally.
If y'all ain't loving it, I'm sorry, but I'm having a freaking blast.
Yeah, it's a good time. So, Terry McLaurin, you picked him. Then we have Baker to Matty Ice. He's a Browns fan. It makes perfect sense. And it's a fine pick at 607, in my opinion. It's not wonderful. I would have taken Kyler Murray first because I love Kyler Murray. I would have went Kyler Murray.
Great pick, not taking Kyler Murray and taking Baker.
Got
I
DeAndre,
can't
Larry
say that with
Fitz,
the
Kirk, Christian Kirk, or as Dan calls him.
Christian Cook. I love it, Dan. Thank you.
We love Dan. He's from Australia. It's
Hey,
not
did
as
we
far.
get-
He's a British
did,
Texan.
Did you mention Ertz? Ertz is the TE3.
I haven't
in
got
the
that
sixth?
far. Haven't
Yes,
got
you
that
did.
far.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I talked about Baker, and I would have
Oh,
rather
okay.
had Kyler. I haven't even talked about that atrocious pick at 608 that could pay off.
Yeah, it
Could.
It could. He didn't look like himself. David Johnson at 608. Obviously, there's a reason why Kenyon Drake is the running back in Arizona now. But with that being said, who's in Houston?
Right.
I mean, who else is in Houston? And it might still be the question: who the hell's in Houston? You got DJ and DJ, Duke Johnson, and David Johnson. So it could be interesting. I don't like it. That's just me. I'm not a Dave Johnson fan. Even after his big year, I passed on him in every draft I had a position draft him at.
Yeah, this is going to be a volume type of situation. Like David Johnson might finish okay due to volume, but make no mistake, you're not getting a David Johnson
You're
season.
not getting 20 touchdowns at David
You're
Johnson.
not getting it. It's not happening. David Johnson is not going to finish as a top 10 fantasy running back. You might get 15 to 20 range. You might, based on volume.
Now, with
You
that
might.
being said, we're in the 6th round.
Yeah,
Almost every running back of value is gone right now.
truth.
And
It's a dart throw.
And my biggest knock on David Johnson is like he was traded for Nook. I mean, like one reason why he would have a little bit of a cleaner box to deal with is gone. You know, yeah, they got some
Yeah.
fast guys. One of them can't stay on the field.
Now I
Two of
will
them can't
say,
stay on the field.
when I scroll through and look at some of the other running backs, I don't hate the David Johnson pick.
I'm with you.
It's just a dart throw. It's a shot in the dark. It's a rainbow in the dark.
Shot in the dark. You're too late.
It's a rainbow in the dark. I just don't love it, but I hate some of the picks at running back afterwards, so we'll get there. But Kyler Murray, great pick by Kuckler at 609. Zach Ertz, a fine pick at 6.10, or the 610 as Arms calls it.
By the way, so I do want to talk about Corey.
You go ahead. I
He's
need a
got
drink.
Dalvin, he's got Drake, and he's got David Johnson. And to his credit, he after possibly what I think is a couple questionable decisions. Obviously, Dalvin's chalk, right? He's going to be great again as long as he stays healthy. But he didn't stop addressing the position. And I mean, if you take a questionable-ish player, that's what you've got to do. Keep addressing the position, and you know what? I mean, that's just good drafting right there. You know, if you reach a little bit, you just keep going at it.
Agreed. So, Ertz, great pick. As we talked to Reginald, Debo, I think it was a fine pick. I have zero qualms about that whatsoever. Dak Prescott. Me and you, not big-time Dak Prescott fans, but Dak Prescott goes.
Weapons, though, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jesus
This
criminy.
is a Drew Lock kind of situation, but Dak Prescott's proven and Lock is not, so I actually can't hate it. The one thing I hate about it,
Is
though,
the next pick or a couple picks later?
Russell Wilson. I hate that. Why? Russell Wilson has weapons too. Lockett's fine. DK looked fine.
Disley when he's on the field.
They brought Greg Olson in.
Yep.
They've got running backs galore. DJ Dallas.
They got DJ.
They got DJ Dallas. Michael Bauer.
DJ freaking Dallas.
They got DJ fucking Dallas. They got
that's his middle name is fucking actually.
They got Homer. I can't remember his first. Travis Homer. They've got.
That's what you
Carson
feel like if you've got to start that guy. You're like, no.
Absolutely. So, Dak's fine.
Next pick's Brandon Cooks. Then it goes to Wilson. So I didn't want to leave Brandon Cooks out.
Cooks was taken by a Texans fan. I'll say that. It was Branson who does the Back Row Texans show.
And I don't hate Cooks. Obviously, year after year after year, it's 1,000 yards.
Right.
It's like, he's been productive. I just don't know if he can ever be like a true wide receiver one anymore, and I don't think he ever really was.
If he's gonna do it, now's the time. Yeah. There's your chance. You got again. You upgraded quarterback wise. You went from Goff to Watson. So your chance is now. You're on a team full of injury-riddled receivers and Will Fuller and Kiki Kuti.
Yeah, geez. I mean, Brandon Cook's far and away the healthiest guy on the team.
And that's saying something because he wasn't the healthiest guy on the Rams. So he just upgraded
on
in
a team
ton
full
of
of injured wide receivers. He wasn't the healthiest one.
So after Russell Wilson, we got Josh Allen at the 703.
And that's another one I think I take over Dak and maybe over Wilson.
I don't know about that.
I mean, it's close between because you got that rushing, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting a run on quarterbacks, and this is something else. And for the casual listener, the non-fantasy, we're not experts by any stretch of imagination, but the non-fantasy veteran, think of how many quarterbacks have went so far. It's not a lot.
No,
we're in the 7th round, and just a handful of quarterbacks have went. What's that tell you about what people who are true veterans at this game? 20-some years apiece with me and Barker. I mean, we've been doing this a long, long time, and a lot of these guys that we're drafting with have been doing this a long time, and we're all waiting. I mean, the biggest part of us are waiting, unless someone sees that huge value. I
would be waiting. If I didn't get Mahomes in the second, I would still be waiting. And I will say
Lamar Jackson, in the first, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I get your thought process. Between him and Mahomes, you basically have them, and then there's everybody else, and it's a pretty damn wide margin.
Right.
So that's my thought on it. After this first two go, there's a chasm between quarterback 1, 2, and then the third one.
And I don't hate it. Josh Allen is a fine pick in the 7th round. Rob Gronkowski goes next. You got to bank on that, right? I mean, I'm sorry. So your elite tight ends are gone. Kittle's gone. Kelsey's gone. Ertz is gone. You've got a guy.
I already got the report. I get it. I understand.
Well, I'm just saying.
He's Tom Brady's boyfriend. I understand.
If your team looks good on paper at all your starting positions and you get to 704 and those 3 tight ends are gone, Rob Gronkowski's there, you have a chance to you just maybe got the number 1 tight end for 2020.
I mean, so this
is possible.
So that's Kuckler's team. So he's got Breeze and Kyler. He's got Carson, Tariq Cohen, Josh, he didn't have Cohen at that point in the draft, I don't think. He's got Josh Jacobs, so he's fine at running back. But receiving, Michael Thomas, absolute superstar. Cooper Kupp, obviously he's great, and then he's the one who took Jerry Jeudy. I think at this point, for me, considering you still got Noah Fant on the board at this point, I'm waiting probably a little bit to hope Gronk falls to me. But that's just me. It's your team, brother.
Yeah, I don't think he would have. But I get the logic.
I mean, he went close after.
I get the logic. But Kyler has a chance to be special. Mm-hmm. Chris Carson is really good when he's on the field. Josh Jacobs, to me, his team looks okay. Jerry Jeudy, Christian Kirk, Cooper Kupp, Michael Thomas, Gronk. I'm okay with the
my qualm with Gronk. And a lot of people have, I mean, like I said, I've got bets out there. 2 people said Gronk will beat both Kittle and Kelsey this year. And I told him, I said both of them are going to be. I said he's no higher than tight end 3, and But if he's tight end 3, that's
it's fine.
Good.
Maybe Gronk gets enough end zone looks to be there with them.
They got 2 other monsters in the red zone.
That's the problem.
And they've got O.J. Howard, which he's had his moments.
And Tom,
and he's young.
And Tom, I still think O.J. Howard's gone before the start of the season, but Tom Brady is what? 42, 43,
167.
It's not going to keep working forever. It may work another year, I don't know. But anyways, AJ Green went after Gronk. I just don't believe in A.J. Green anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't have faith that he's going to put together a healthy, good fantasy season. It just doesn't. I don't see it.
Here's my disagreement. I think A.J. Green could have played last year and just refused to with the shambles that team was in.
Wanted to be healthy, fully healthy.
Yeah, he wanted to be fully healthy, and then they bring in Burrow.
Possible.
Their offensive line's going to be back to healthy. It's one of their draft picks coming back. Mix I don't mind it. They add in T. Higgins. Man, A.J. Green's probably going to have the least coverage he's ever had in his career.
It's another dart throw.
So
he could come back to relevance.
I think he's a value
worry.
set in the 7th round is what I'm getting at.
Okay. I don't hate it. I just don't like it. Noah Fant, Gronk before Fant. I'm fine with that. Michael Gallup.
I disagree. I think Fant's number 3 or tight end this year, but
too soon.
I get it.
Too soon. Again, competition. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay.
I understand.
A lot of targets.
I understand.
A lot of targets. A lot of mouths to feed. Michael Gallup, speaking of those mouths to feed, you took Gallup 707 before Edelman.
People were afraid of the CDL, baby.
Before Edelman.
This guy's coming off of a 1,106 touchdowns, and I firmly believe, if you look at the numbers, games played, he's the best wide receiver on that team. I do think CeeDee Lamb, talent-wise, has the potential to be better than Gallup, but I think Gallup's already better than Amari Cooper.
Man, you add Lamb there, and I just don't know how.
But I
don't know how he can keep it up.
So Witten's gone, right? So those he was not a big factor, right? So what little targets he had, I mean, who are they going to throw it to? Blake Jarwin, So
he's underrated.
Yeah, but they're not throwing to Blake Jarwin outside of those 3 receivers.
Blake Jarwin.
So you've got basically a 4,000-yard passer. You got 3 receivers that have 1,000-yard potential at least, and I think Amari Cooper's inconsistency is what's going to kill him. I think that's how Cooper's value falls, how Gallup ends up as kind of the top man in the pecking order. And I think by the end of the season, it goes Gallup, it goes CeeDee Lamb, and I think Cooper is the 3rd option in that offense. And next year, in my opinion, I think Cooper is gone, and I think you have 2 legitimate wide receivers.
He just signed a $100 million deal.
What kind of outs are there, though?
I know, but my God.
What kind of outs are there? Just Jerry Jones isn't an idiot.
No, he's not. But 2 years he might be gone. I don't know about 1.
I just think Jerry Jones ain't throwing damn football.
Jerry Jones ain't living much longer.
Yeah, Dak Prescott's one out there throwing football. He's going to throw it to who's open. And it's going to be Michael Gallup. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb.
Jerry Jones' eyes are milky white. I just don't see much life left in there.
He's going downhill quick.
And I hate to say, I don't want to dive back into that.
It.
Anyways.
By the way, I was going to take Gallup where I took McLaurin potentially.
Whew.
I was just hoping everyone is afraid of CeeDee Lamb, and they were.
They were. It worked out. Julian Edelman goes after Gallup. James White. James White's tricky.
What are your on both of these players? What are your thoughts now that Brady's gone?
I think Edelman's still fine. He's going to be a security blanket for Stidham or Hoyer. Hoyer would still target him heavily. Edelman, I don't really want to go after him in dynasties, but he still has the potential to be high volume. So
we're looking at
I don't hate it.
A 33-year-old 5'10" slot receiver that doesn't have the guy who delivered him 1 million balls.
He was good last year.
That's my biggest concern.
Good last year, name recognition. You might be able to even swing a deal and trade him. You just, the
package.
I don't hate Edelman. The key to a successful team is a nice mix of veterans and young guys. So you got to have guys like Edelman, and if you can get him at 708, that could be a starting receiver.
He's going to have a grocery bagger throwing him the damn ball.
Yeah, Stidham could be better than we think. So White. Then I was very happy at 710 to go with my first rookie in Justin Jefferson. Now, if you listen to this show, you know that I was not high on Justin Jefferson coming in, but landing spot changes things. Kirk Cousins supports 2 wide receivers. No one on that team is going to push Justin Jefferson for snaps. I guarantee it.
Absolutely right.
It's Thielen, it's Jefferson. Now, you said Thielen could catch 130 balls. Totally agree.
I said 140, but
totally agree, because Jefferson is not guaranteed to be good out of the gate. But if you're going to take a shot, there it is.
Hey, whenever I say 140 balls, I don't mean for 1,800 yards. Let's just clarify that. This offense was good enough to support 2 wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2 guys with Diggs and Thielen. I can't imagine it not being a similar situation with Jefferson. And the Jefferson pick, this could be a 2 or 3 years. Justin Jefferson is the highest performing out of this rookie class as far as overall production. You know, long term, we're looking at, I think he's got that like 76 catch, 11 to 1,200 yards every season type potential.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So Justin Jefferson, I was really happy to take him there at 7.10. I like him in Minnesota. I don't love him. I still think Jerry Jeudy's head and shoulders above him talent-wise, but I was glad to take him there, especially considering where's my team here? I had Odell, and I had Lockett and Parker, and essentially Justin Jefferson's my 4. I'm okay with that.
He's realistically probably going to be, whenever Preston Williams comes back, he might slide into your 3 because he's developed into that role by then.
Possible.
And that's
like, what I'm counting on.
That's why you draft a rookie at this point.
Right. So Matt Ryan goes afterwards. There's one reason you wait on a quarterback.
There we go.
You get Matt Ryan at almost the 8th round. Carson Wentz,
4,500-yard guy, yeah.
Carson Wentz right after. Carson Wentz is super talented.
Yeah, but is that a...
I know he doesn't stay healthy.
That says Boyer, not Bauer. Did he sneak one in us and take Carson Wentz?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't Bauer. Close names, but then Ben Bowyer went CeeDee Lamb. So not long after Gallup, CeeDee Lamb goes. And I don't hate it because I really do think CeeDee Lamb has the kind of talent where he might be the best wide receiver on that team in a year.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Might be. So I don't hate it. That's pure upside. Now what I do hate is Jared Cook at 802. That was Raj Harder. Jared Cook at 802.
I mean,
I don't like that at all. This may be the first one that I'm like, no.
I mean,
just no.
Just a few picks down, you have the wide receiver 1 over the last 4 weeks of the season, who's going to be available. We'll get there. So, and this name, if you didn't follow real close in the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, the name's going to shock you. It really is.
Right. Ronald Jones. I took Ronald Jones after Jared Cook. I was happy to take Ronald Jones. I had Derrick Henry. I had Lev Bell. I didn't have a third running back. So Ronald Jones, to me, a nice dart throw as a third running back. And then comes that man. Who is it, Arms, that you were just talking about?
Oh, no, we're at Darius Slayton right now.
Oh, I thought that's who you were talking about.
No.
Over the back half of the season, he was money.
No, I'm talking about the tight end number 3. Or number 1.
Okay. Well, Darius Slayton, I don't hate it. There currently is no clear-cut wide receiver 1 in New York.
That is a very weird wide receiver room, in my opinion.
It is, and Darius Slayton has the potential to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of times last year he looked like far and away the best receiver on that team, but there was also times last year you're like, did he play this week? Was he a healthy scratch? It was like 2 touchdowns or none. But I mean, we're in 8th round, right? We're getting Darius Slayton, who's he's a little bit of a boomer bust, but that was as a rookie.
Right.
He gets a little bit more consistency under his belt. It starts averaging 5 catches a game on his low weeks, and all of a sudden Darius Slayton is creeping into your top 15 wide receiver conversation.
Possible.
Especially with those upside weeks of 2 touchdowns.
Right. Very possible. But now we get to talk about your guy,
Tyler Higbee.
See, I'm hands off of the Rams tight end situation no matter what.
I understand where you're coming from, but from week 13, 17 points, week 14, 12 points. And now keep in mind, tight end landscape is atrocious. Week 15, 11, week 16, 10, and that's against the 49ers. And week 17, 14. I mean, he faced some formidable defenses because 14 of the Seahawks, then the Cowboys, and the Niners and the Cardinals, and he performed. And we're looking at literally in that time frame, 107 yards, 116 yards, 111 yards, 104 yards, and 84 yards. That was his worst game since week 13 was 84 yards.
Well, Austin Hooper just got drafted in the late 10th, I believe.
And by the way, you must not have this.
No, the 11th.
I'm sorry, you don't have this on PPR format with our scoring because those scores didn't match up. But
I'm not worried about scoring.
But regardless, my point, whenever I'm rattling off those scores, I know it sounds low. then I have to look, and that wasn't counting his receptions. And one of the weeks he had 12 receptions to get that.
Right.
So that's an extra 12 points added on there. Man, Tyler Higbee's going to be special. Now, I know that Everett,
He's going to be special?
for fantasy purposes, did you see what he did the last few weeks? I mean, back to back to back to back, 100-yard games.
Ah, man, I just don't know.
You no longer have Brandon Cooks there?
It's not enough for me. We got guys like Porkman that loves Van Jefferson.
I'm not sure Van Jefferson beat Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds is still there. Everett. I just don't know about
most of these
Higbee.
guys were playing those weeks. Is my point.
I don't believe a damn
You know
thing
what I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
You know,
I just don't know about him.
this Higbee is for Dan in the 8th round potentially to have a top 3 or 4 tight end.
Man, it's pushing it.
I get it because you don't want to believe the name, but look at the last 4 or 5 weeks of his season. He was ridiculous.
I love finishes as much as the next guy, but I just don't know if Jared Goff is good. This is also a team. The reason Tyler Higbee did that is because for some damn reason, Cooper Kupp's usage went way down at the end of the season.
Because Higbee was open.
No, they didn't. No, his snaps went
okay.
way down at the end of the
Because
season.
they didn't need him. Higbee was a star.
Jesus. Okay, let's move on. Darius
But
Geis.
seriously, based on the numbers, he was a star.
Okay. He was the last 4 weeks, but I'm not going to extrapolate
And
that
I'm not-
to 2020. I can't.
Like 5 consecutive weeks of, I think it was 5 consecutive weeks to where he fell no lower than like tight end 3 on a week.
You shall not
It was
change
like
me.
1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Like, dude's been ridiculous.
You shall not change my opinion.
Anyhow,
Anyways, so you took Darius Geis right after.
Geis is my boy. I know health's an issue.
Listen, I took Ronald Jones before him, so I can't say shit about Darius Geis. That's fine. It's fine.
I still believe towards the end of last year he could have played through the injury. I just think it was a smart play. Why take a guy who's already had some injury concerns and put him back out there when you have nothing to play for?
It's fine.
They actually had the advantage of not playing him. You got Chase Young.
Right. Yeah, zero issues with Geis. I mean, it's fine pick. Mike Williams at 807. That's fine to me, honestly. Michael Pittman, a guy I love. There's a rookie. Corey takes Michael Pittman. I'm fine with that pick. I love Michael Pittman.
Pittman is that big body guy that they've been lacking in Indy for years.
Absolutely. Tariq Cohen goes after that. Tariq Cohen shouldn't be picked yet, and we're in the 11th round. This is pick 809.
But,
Tariq Cohen shouldn't be picked yet.
He's going to get his catches.
Where did he finish last year?
The year before, though, he was like top 9.
That's
I think it's like, I get it.
2018.
I get it, but
Before David Montgomery.
Keckler's even acknowledging
BDG.
this is his 4th running back, though, at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Sony Michel's there,
Okay.
and I don't like Sony Michel. We both know this, but
I think Michelle had like 4 catches.
I'm
which is crazy.
I'm taking Sony over Tariq Cohen just
Okay.
because of possible volume. So I don't. Damian Williams went after Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying Damian Williams is going to be wonderful or anything like that. Jordan Howard after Tariq Cohen. Jordan Howard could be the early down back in Miami. He could be the goal line back. So I just don't know about Tariq Cohen. Brashard Perryman to the Fantasy Fuel podcast. Brashard Perryman, that's a high upside. That's a dart
Yeah,
throw.
I
I don't really hate it.
As his notes, hopefully he continues to stretch from last season. And
Yeah, and if
that
he
is what you're doing. You're hoping he does.
Could pan out. Evan Ingram, that's a tight end dart through. I have no problem with that.
He's
At
been a
8-11.
top 3-4 guy, and then he's been.
Yep, you're 50-50. You're getting top 10 or you're getting injury.
But we're looking at tight ends though too. Let's
Right.
keep that in mind.
So we already talked about Sony Michel at 8-12. We're into the 9th round. Sterling Shepard, that's an okay pick there because Sterling Shepard could be the number 1 guy in New York. We don't know.
And then the following pick, Golden Tate. It is literally wide open, and they all kind of fell into place in the same cluster, so to speak.
You're also on the clock in this mock draft. So, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, back to back. So Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, any one of them could pace this team in catches. We just don't know. So those are dart throws that I am okay with. They're all fine. Jalen Reagor at 903 to Fantasy Fuel on the turn. I'm okay with that because Jalen Reagor technically is the best wide receiver on that Philadelphia team. I know you
That-
want to say
yeah,
Alshon.
but that team hasn't supported a true wide receiver one in a long time.
That's 100% accurate. That's the only reason. Again, dart throw. Here's what we talked about before the show even started. Kuckler, 904, Antonio Gibson. You hate it.
I despise it.
I like it.
Man, I get it. His comments, Geis is always hurt. AP is old as dirt. Someone's got to secure that job. And if
It's
it's
like a rap song.
yeah, no doubt.
Geis is always
you got-
hurt.
You got spaghetti on
AP
your
AP is old as
sweater
dirt.
already. Man, I just
Gibson going to flirt with 10 TDs.
feel like Bryce Love will be the guy who secures that job before Antonio Gibson.
I don't even know if he's healthy.
He's
I don't even know if he's healthy.
enough. You know, I just feel like there's other value there. I mean, Kerryon Johnson's still available. I get Swift's there, but I just don't think Antonio Gibson is a top 3 talent on his own team.
Here's why I love Antonio Gibson. Here's why I like the pick at 904. I was eyeballing Antonio Gibson. I was hoping to land Antonio Gibson with my pick 6 picks later. Reason
He
being,
should have still been there.
Antonio Gibson was primarily a wide receiver for Memphis. Antonio Gibson is going to be a running back in Washington, but he's also going to do that Chris Thompson
I knew
thing.
that's where he's going. He's going to be.
It's not
PPR
just
guy.
that.
I got you.
It's not just that. So Antonio Gibson could play wide receiver easily. The league is slowly turning to weapons.
I
It's
got you.
slowly turning to weapons. Henry Ruggs is a weapon.
Yep.
Antonio Gibson is a very underrated guy. If Antonio Gibson was in this draft in 2019, he might have got drafted as a wide receiver. Gibson, I love Geis, but there's got to be another guy.
Yeah.
AP is old as dirt.
Yep.
Bryce Love, we just don't know. He could end up being just like Deontay Foreman, honestly.
Yeah, you're right.
So Antonio Gibson, he's going to catch balls. It's going to happen immediately.
Mhm.
He's going to get some runs. I see this as a very high upside play. If Darius Geis goes down again, I love Antonio Gibson. I actually am perfectly fine with the pick. I decided over the last few weeks that Antonio Gibson, after watching more film, was going to be a guy that I targeted everywhere that I missed the opportunity on.
Go back and watch film on Bryce Love. You should.
Bryce Love's good, but he's
You should.
fucking dead.
He
The
was-
guy's dead.
Dude, he was on IR at the beginning of last
He's
season.
Jack Skellington dead.
Oh my God, get out of here!
Jack Skellington.
All right, the next pick's Damian Williams. Should have been Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, and that's an okay pick because if Clyde Edwards-Helaire has any kind of a slow start, if he has problems in pass pro, Damian Williams is going to swoop right in. So it's a perfectly fine pick.
The next one I think is a question mark.
This is a question mark.
Matty Ice takes Brian Edwards.
I love Brian Edwards, but I
You
think
left the number 1 receiver in Oakland off.
I think you could take Brian Edwards a solid 5 rounds later.
At least 2.
At least,
At least 2 rounds
minimum.
later. At this pick, like I would have went Henry Ruggs if you're going for a wide receiver. There's some other guys that are still available that maybe Jameson Crowder, T. Higgins maybe.
Yeah, Brian Edwards is a nice upside pick, but it's one of those late in the draft upside picks.
Hey guys, you want
In
to
a
hear?
startup.
You want to hear while we wait on wide receiver or wait on quarterback? Pick 907, Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Ludicrous,
Aaron Rodgers in the 9th round. This is the reason you wait on quarterback.
right?
We're talking about a guy just a couple years ago was going in the 1st.
Right. Now they got him no weapons, but
He ain't had weapons in years.
A lot of folks are high on Alan Lazard. They've got a good running game. They're going to transition a little more, but it's still Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
This guy could be dealt after this year. You could be looking at like
He could be the Raiders quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers in Carolina throwing to Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and whatever next wide receiver they draft. I mean, there's Aaron Rodgers. This is the reason you wait. 9.
Jordan
He's
Howard.
a first rounder a few years ago.
Yeah. And then following pick, you get Ryan Tannehill. I mean, so last half of the season, Ryan Tannehill was like a top 3 quarterback. To get him in the 9th round, kind of the same thing. A great pairing with A.J. Brown, as his notes say. And you know what? The rapport's only going to build. From there, we got Deontay Johnson, Daniel Jones, Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry has a huge upside. Boyer then takes A.J. Dillon, obviously, but they drafted him for a reason. In theory, he's a monstrous man. If you haven't looked at him, like look up how big he is and watch some of his game tape. There's arguments he goes down too early, but he's also like 6 foot, 240 pounds.
Right.
Darren Waller, top 5 tight end. In
yeah,
round
it's
10.
fine this late. It's absolutely fine this late. I don't. Now that they've got some weapons, I worry that the reason Darren Waller was such a big deal in Oakland is because they didn't have shit to throw to.
I don't disagree.
Now you got Ruggs. Now you got Brian Edwards if he can stay healthy, and Tyrell Williams slots into the perfect position, which is a second or third option. So I don't know about Darren Waller. I don't, but you got to take that dart throw.
Yeah, he's got a huge upside. And your boy, everyone's boy, I think, Joe Burrow. Burrow goes to you as your backup quarterback.
Wait a minute. Did you skip right over my Deontay Johnson pick at 9-10?
Yeah, I mean, I said it, but it's Deontay Johnson, and
listen,
he's number 3 on that team.
If Juju doesn't get it going, Deontay Johnson
was
as a rookie
couldn't consistently beat James Washington in production.
As a rookie, this guy caught one less than 60 balls, just under 700 yards and 5 touchdowns out of Toledo. This is a high upside potential Antonio Brown-like player.
Isn't that where James Conner went to? Toledo?
No, it was Pitt.
Oh, okay.
But Deontay Johnson, Juju's probably going to walk. Deontay Johnson I can't believe he lasted till the 9th. I'm pretty high on him, so that's all I'll say because it's not a guarantee. Deontay Johnson could just catch 59 balls again. It could happen.
Backyard Steelers then, after the Burrow pick, takes Dallas Goedert. In my opinion, as he puts, in my opinion, the best tight end long term in Philly, and I agree with him 100%.
Did you say much about the Dillon pick? I mean, I think that was early.
Yeah, a little bit, but let me look at his team. Does he have?
If you're banking on Dillon being the guy in 2021, it's a fine pick.
I mean, and we're late. I mean, we're late in the draft at this point, and you're
true.
You're picking up potential. He does not. His running backs at this point are Cam Akers, A.J. Dillon, and Dave Montgomery. You may have punted the running back position a little bit, my friend.
Just a little.
Anyway, back to Goddard. Goddard's got real high upside. I love Goddard.
It's a great pick in the 10th round.
Exactly.
Great pick.
Jameson Crowder, PPR guy.
Solid.
I end up with Henry Ruggs. That's a homer pick entirely.
That's fine, no. But in the 10th round, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think that he's clearly the wide receiver one. That's the plan for him in Oakland. We don't take him where we took him.
He was drafted after
Las
Brian
Vegas,
Edwards.
Excuse me. And we don't take him where we took him to not use him. And then,
well, here's the thing. I want to bring this up real quick.
Okay.
Have you seen a draft where Brian Edwards goes ahead of Henry Ruggs in dynasty rookie drafts?
I've not. This is the first one.
So why the hell does Brian Edwards go way ahead of Henry Ruggs in this startup draft?
I don't know.
I love Brian Edwards. I really do. I think he's got the potential to be better fantasy-wise than Ruggs. But the fact remains, Ruggs is uber talented.
And he can work all 3 levels. He's a deep ball guy that can do everything.
Right. So would I be shocked if Edwards ended up being the guy there and Henry Ruggs was like the complimentary deep threat a la Will Fuller? I wouldn't be shocked. But you still don't take Brian Edwards ahead of Henry Ruggs.
I'm with you.
Henry Ruggs was the first wide receiver drafted. You don't take Brian Edwards ahead of him in a startup. You just don't. So continue.
Then T. Higgins, love his upside. Could honestly, by season's end, kind of have the almost de facto wide receiver 1 position locked down in Cincinnati. I mean, we don't know what A.J. Green's health is. And I like Tyler Boyd, but I don't love Tyler Boyd. But, man, T. Higgins most years could have been the number 1 receiver off the board in the real NFL draft.
Carry-on's fine in the 10th, but I don't love it
He's
anymore.
Still the starter at this point. Christian Kirk. At this point.
That's why Dan Rozier wants to call in. He said, can I call in? I told him to give me a few minutes, see if we can get through this.
So Christian Kirk, I'm not a huge fan of Kyler, but he's going to have the.
I love.
Yeah, I get it. But he last year kind of was de facto number 1 because obviously Fitz declining. Christian Kirk, he's the number 2, but I think he's going to be productive number 2. I don't hate that in the 10th. By the way, we're going to stop this at the end of the 10th round about finishing it. Dan, if you want to get a call in, go ahead. I'll keep rounding out. Fantasy Fuel takes Philip Lindsay. that's just a depth pick at this point. Maybe hoping Melvin Gordon goes down.
Our boy Reginald said Brian Edwards will be dropped before he pops. That's not a bad line because it is possible that folks give up on him because it takes a year or two.
I absolutely agree. Reginald, as he mentioned earlier, Emmanuel Sanders at pick 10, 11.
Love it.
That is
Love it. That's a starter. That is a starter.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you're not getting long term, but that's a fantasy starter. That's a fantasy wide receiver, 1, 2, or 3 on your team. It's a savvy pick.
And then to round out the 10th, it's Hollywood Brown, and huge upside.
I like it.
Boomer bust guy, but that's the way we played all year last year.
Right.
I mean, but in the 11th round or 10th round, that's great.
Now we've hyped up some of Reginald's picks. He's a Raiders fan just like you. Are we going to hype up the Hunter Renfrow pick at 11:02 or no?
No, I think
it's a little early.
I think Renfro's suddenly got buried.
I just think you could have waited.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to bet on him because if it's Ruggs and Renfrow instead of Ruggs and Edwards, the pick will I get it. It's a solid dart throw. Renfrow looked good last year. But I just think you could have waited. I think it's that simple. You could have waited.
I agree.
Denzel Mims goes right after. That's a massive upside pick. This is your boomer bust. This is your Ramses Barden or your
Kenny Golladay.
Kenny Golladay. That's perfect.
Yeah.
This is your Ramses or your Kenny. So we don't know what. It's 50-50.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. He could be great.
And Ramses wasn't as fast as Mims. I'm not saying that. But Ramses Barden was intriguing with his size.
Yeah, it's the same way Mims is, though.
Yeah. But Mims is fast too. But it doesn't translate. That doesn't mean anything. We've had other wide receivers not named Calvin Johnson come out of Georgia Tech that just flopped. Now I'm not saying Denzel Mims is out of Georgia Tech. He's not.
What's the guy's name?
I'm just saying size, speed guys. Some
Stephen Hill
flop. Stephen Hill.
4.3.
Georgia Tech.
4.3,
Fast as hell. Big. Didn't work out. Denzel Mims could be Stephen Hill. Or he could be Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, but Mims was Baylor.
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about just purely Georgia Tech.
I thought you were talking like Georgia Tech in general. I'm like,
the thing with Mims was, the combine they were talking Calvin Johnson. Like Calvin Johnson comes out of Georgia Tech. Stephen Hill comes out of Georgia Tech. Stephen Hill put up a damn good combine.
I see where you're going with this.
It's just the 50-50. You're getting Stephen Hill or Kenny Golladay.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what yet.
Huge upside, tremendous downside.
Right. But
it's boomer bust pick, and that's what you're taking in the 11th round.
Right. Drew Brees, waiting for a quarterback. 11:04.
Still
Drew
pays
Brees.
off.
Hell yeah. Marvin Jones. That's fine because Marvin Jones keeps producing. It's not exciting, but he keeps producing. Austin Hooper. It's fine at 11:06, but I don't think it works out.
T.J. Hawkins is still
a little bit of a homer. A little bit of a homer pick. And then if you want to end the show, you're up. So who do you want to take?
Buddy, I don't even have the draft board in front of me. You're killing me. Hold on.
Dan, if you're still listening, you've got 2 minutes. Hold on. Dan, you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We got to end this show in 3. You got 2. So we're waiting on Dan while you're looking that up. The show will be ending in just a couple minutes.
There's no value left at running back. Top running back available is Adrian Peterson and then Malcolm Brown. Wide receiver, Day-Day, however you want to say it, is still available. I think I'm going to have to go with a depth pick here. Oh, man.
I wish we could get these next 3 picks off the board because I really am dying to talk about my guy that I'm going to take at 11.10.
I am going to go with a huge upside guy that has a million question marks around him, and his name is Tua Tagovailoa.
I like that. I mean, Joe Burrow went rounds ago.
I'm secure at quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. I've got time to wait on Tua. If Tua develops to what I think he can and will be, I think this is an absolute steal in the 11th round.
This is a guy that could set the league on fire if he's healthy.
Yep.
And you got him in the 11th round, and he's young.
Yeah, and now I can just start taking dart throws at skill positions from here on out.
Absolutely. Love that, actually. So, Dan is up. I really want to get to my guy, but I'm afraid to talk about him on here for fear that someone might pick him up. So maybe if you guys want to leave us, that's fine. But I'm going to see if these next 2 picks happen quickly. Hopefully, both guys that are watching, or hopefully both guys that are up are watching, so we can get to them.
Give us a hint, Barker.
Man, I really don't want to.
What position is he?
I don't even want to do that. All right, so Dan, first of all, I need you to pick. I have to talk about my next pick. So I need you to make that happen so I can tell our boy Rob to make his pick. But you go ahead and say what you wanted to say. But I need you to pick right now.
Wait. A pick? What?
You're up.
You're on the clock, brother.
I thought Arms was up. Oh, you stitched me up here.
Arms took Tua Tagovailoa.
Arms took Tua.
Yeah.
My backup quarterback.
Wow. Let's have a look here.
I mean, Benjamin Victor is available and KJ Hill's available.
Yeah, Sam H.O., if you're going alphabetically, is readily available.
Let's see, what other...
Am I doing this responsibly right now, or are we doing this...
You do whatever the hell you want, but I want to talk... I'm up in 2 picks, and I really want to talk about this guy because I made a little point earlier in the show that I did not get to clarify on.
All right, so I'm going to take a guy now.
Austin Mack's available, too, to stick with those Giants wide receivers.
Right. Why? All right, I got a guy now. All right, here we go. Bang. I've grabbed Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson. That's not a bad pick. So we were talking about David Johnson being, volume dependent is the only way he was going to make his mark. If David Johnson goes down like he has been, there's no Carlos Hyde anymore. It's probably Duke Johnson getting the load.
11th round.
I like it. I like
11th
it.
round.
I like it a lot.
Quite a steal in the 11th.
Right.
So what are you going to bash me on?
No, you've been holding up the queue for about an hour and a half. What are you doing?
Is that the whole reason you wanted to call us? Tell me to hurry the hell up?
This is too, man. No, honestly, to be honest with you, I think everyone will say that, but I actually only started tuning in around about the 8th round. Mark, I 100% agree. I did not want to take Tyler Higbee. Absolutely not. But he only had 4 less points than Robert Woods in the same stand. I think it was like round 11 to round 17. So I was like, that's too hard to give up.
Higbee looked awesome at the end.
And it was right about Austin Hooper as well. So why not double down on that?
I like the Duke pick.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, why not?
So
it was all right.
So Rob is going to pick. He's contacted me back. He's going to pick. So I'm going to get to put my pick in here. But we can probably talk about how these teams ended up. We'll do a little short segment on the next show. We'll go through the teams out of this mock draft because this has been fun.
And we can post some like screenshots of the team kind of as they ended up on Twitter. And, maybe let you guys grade us, see who the paper champion is, so to speak.
Paper champ.
I mean, the Browns win the draft almost every year, and, that doesn't work out. So,
son of a bitch.
Who do you take?
No one yet, but there's 2 guys. I'm just going to talk about both of them. Fuck it.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's got to pick first. And you know what? Rob, as the commissioner of this mock draft, I forbid you to take my guy.
Wow.
So, listen, here's what I was going to do. We were talking about some tight ends, Austin Hooper. There's 2 guys on the board I would rather have than Austin Hooper. Reason being, Austin Hooper's changing teams.
Yep.
Austin Hooper's got Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry to contend with, and Kareem Hunt.
Super athlete David
I
Njoku.
just don't know if Austin Hooper is going to be as good as he was on Cleveland as opposed to Atlanta. Just don't think it's going to happen. So
I failed at that last year.
N'Keal Harry just went. I like that. That's a high upside dart throw.
Yep.
Ian Thomas was the guy I was going to pick.
Okay.
I think Ian Thomas in Carolina with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be looking underneath to guys like Curtis Samuel and Ian Thomas. And Ian Thomas looked great without Greg Olsen. And I was going to pick him, but I can't because Mike Gesicki's still there.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I went Mike Gesicki. That's not a homer pick. That's a I don't have a tight end pick. It's between Ian Thomas and Mike Gesicki, and Mike Gesicki showed flashes of brilliance last year. So I do want to say Ian Thomas, I think, is a fantastic wait pick. I waited on tight end because guys like Ian Thomas and Jake Gesicki are there.
Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki. Who did I say? Jake?
Jake? I don't even know.
I don't
who
know
that
where
is.
the hell Jake
It's like
from
a
State
brother or
Farm
something.
came in. But anyways, you can wait on tight end because there's some high upside picks there in Ian Thomas and Mike Gesicki. That's all I wanted to do. I like them both better than Austin Hooper because free agent transitions to other teams don't always work out. End of rant.
Guys, there's still value on the board, though, particularly at tight end. Some
Jonnu possibly could be good.
Will Disley's still there.
Hayden
TJ
Hurst
Hawkinson, Hayden
could
Hurst still
take
there.
a leap.
Chris Herndon's still out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Chris Herndon?
there's
Yeah.
guys with a lot of
Chris Herndon's
upside.
still out there. Kyle Rudolph's still out
Ebron?
there.
Ebron in Pittsburgh could be a whole nother situation.
Yeah, and as we're looking, so this is where you either go elite on tight end or you wait.
TJ Hawkinson.
I already said TJ.
Greg
Hawks.
Olson's still out there too. Greg Olson's still out there as well.
Will Disley,
Hey.
you know, I mean,
Cole Kmet, if you want to go rookie.
yeah, but you either go elite or you wait, and that's your only options. Don't get caught up in a run after the first 2 or 3 guys go. Just don't do it.
Irv Smith Jr., super sleeper
Love
pick.
Irv Smith Jr.
Super sleeper pick. So,
Well, I have a question for you guys now. If looking at waiting on tight end, Hooper moves to Cleveland. They've got Jaden Graham and Hayden Hurst. What do you guys think about that?
give me Hayden Hurst over Hooper for the first time ever.
I take Hayden Hurst over Hooper, but keep an eye on Jarrett Pickney.
Wow.
Yeah, Jared Pickney was a nice pickup, but I listen, it's just based off the fact that Austin Hooper, I don't think he's that great. But in Atlanta, he done well last season. Hayden Hurst, again, I don't think he's that great. But I think that he'll be better served in Atlanta than Hooper will be in Cleveland.
And that's a quarterback situation too. Like we know without a shadow of a doubt that that Matt Ryan likes to throw to the tight end.
We've yet to see Baker Mayfield really target a tight end. heavily.
Exactly. So
So
that's my thought on it. I'm back on the anyone but Hooper train, as I was preseason last year. So that means through week 15, he's probably going to be wide or tight end number 1. But yeah, I'm passing on him at this point. Although he proved, I mean, the guy's got the talent.
absolutely. So there we go. Appreciate it. Dan had to leave. His battery's dying. There we go. Startup draft. Good time. Finally back together in the studio.
Thanks for
coming in at 2 hours
Yeah.
on this one.
Thanks for
It's
tuning in,
fine.
guys. I know it was lengthy, and my wife's going to punch me in the face for being 2 hours at this, but we're good.
Yeah, break it up. Break it up into 2 separate listens, and then we're good. Dan, are you still fucking there?
I'm still here.
I thought your battery died. I keep hearing all this noise in the background, all this British Texan rumble.
I'm really awkward with leaving, but if I can, Back Row Giants show, get the podcast.
Dude, it's fun. Back Row Giant Show is
Shameless
fun.
I worked
plug.
it in. I've been waiting. I was like, you know what? I'll wait.
It's a fun show. Go check out Dan on the Back Row Giant Show. He has a good time and he makes me happy. So
We
it
love
really
you,
is.
Dan.
It really is a good time. Dan, you're killing it with that. Like absolutely
Shameless
killing it.
plug, it's all fun and games.
It's fun.
just said
That's
you were
exactly
gonna-
what it is. It's fun. That's what we're supposed to have. So, Dan, thank you, and go.
What it feels like.
Yes. Peace.
Good night, Dan.
But yeah, Back Row Giants show is fantastic. We're going to keep it under 2 hours by ending it now, right at 1 hour 58 minutes. Thanks for joining us. We're glad to be back. We appreciate everybody that streamed and called.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace.
Good night.
This concludes another episode of the Back Row Fantasy Show. Thanks for listening, and be sure to give us a review.